Head women's basketball coach here at the University of Alaska Anchorage. In this video, you'll be watching the amoeba defense that in our style of what we call mayhem. Amoeba has been a very important part to our success. It's led to multiple conference championships and an appearance in the national title game in 2015-16 season. We believe that the amoeba is a great mix of man and zone. Where if you want zone concepts and apply man-to-man pressure, the amoeba could be a very good option for you, and we hope that you enjoy watching. Here at UAA, we run a system we call Mayhem, and what we want to do is apply a lot of on-ball pressure full court, and when we fall back into our half-court defense, we run a version of the amoeba defense. The amoeba defense in its base set is a 1-1-3 that can change shape or function during the middle of a possession or depending on how the offense aligns itself. But it is also a zone that uses man principles. We really like it because of that, that we don't just sit back in a typical or conventional 2-3, 1-3-1 or 3-2 zone. It can change its shape depending on what the offense runs, and it falls into our philosophy that we want to apply as much pressure as we can and still have rules defensively where we can take certain things away from the offense. So X1 and X2, as we'll talk about in our live demonstration, these are typically going to be your best two on-ball defenders. Our X1 we use as our point guard defender, and this position can extend out to half court. Usually they do because we naturally come out of some sort of press back into this particular defense. These two positions, X1 and X2, are interchangeable. X2 could have the responsibilities of X1 depending on if the ball was reversed or they came out with an even guard front, which we'll talk about in a little while. X3 and X4 typically have the corner or the wing pass, and they are always in denial. One is always in denial on the strong side, and the other one, if they're on the weak side, typically they are what we call the hoop man. There is always a ball man, someone in denial. The post is always fronted, and the backside help person we call the hoop man. So in its base, we are in a 1-1-3, as you can see here. We typically want the ball to come down on one particular side of the floor. So in this situation, we'll say that the one has the ball here on this side of the floor, and X1 is guarding their point guard. And typically you'll see, you could see them overload the bottom of the zone, but in this case, let's say that there is a wing around free throw line extended, the two, and we'll say the other wing is over here. They have a high post in a zone offense and a low post. So the adjustments that we would make to this would be X2 would sit and shade more on the high side of the high post. Taking that away, the 5, when the ball is at what we call the river, and the river is from this key down to that key, the ball right here we would call on the bank of the river. The 5 will be in a 3/4 position. The X4 would then move up and in our rules be in a denial. And the ball could be up here. X1 would then extend up to the ball to keep the ball on one side so that there can't be a dribble reversal. If the ball, and in this situation as the ball moves, the hoop man moves as well. So the further the hoop man is from the ball, the further the hoop man is from their particular matchup. So in this case, X3 would be matched up with 3, and because as the ball angle changes to potentially get a lob into the post, our X3 or our hoop man would be right, maybe 2 feet in the key right there. So as the ball gets reversed, let's say that the 3 comes up, the ball gets reversed to the 3. Let's say that the post X, so the 4 will come down, and let's say he or she goes to the short corner. As the ball is reversed, the 3 will jet up to take this pass. So the 3 now has the ball. The 4 has moved down, and let's say the 5 X'd up. So in this case, we have our 5 at the high post. Our 4 is in the short corner. Our 3 now is defending the skip pass. Our 4 jumps to ball, just like in man defense, and our 4 is now the hoop man. X2 and X1's responsibility don't change. X2 still has the high post. And we have, in this case, X5, depending on where the 4 is at. If she is on the block, we are fronting that pass. If she is in, let's say, more of a short corner type look, then the X5 is shading to the short corner, but we are not denying that particular pass just in case the 5 were to dive. If the ball goes into the short corner, the 5 is going to take this pass, commit to the 4 who now has the ball. X5 will then guard the ball, and what we call the amoeba rotation is when the person that had the ball, in this case it's X3, will jet down to protect the dive, which typically happens. They want to get someone close to the basket and on an overload type situation. If she does not dive, X3 will then match up with the 5. So the 5, let's say, does dive on the short corner pass. X3 jets down to front the post, as our responsibilities are in amoeba. X2 will then sprint here to deny the 3 and leave the high post area, and we are denying this pass back. Typically, one of 2 things happens. This short corner gets the ball and tries to go into a feed. Now, while this happened and the 3 is jetting back, to buy her time, our hoop man will show and recover back to the help side. So as the 5 dives down, X4 will come over to show if it's a quick pass where the X3 has a little bit longer of a rotation, and then immediately get back into the hoop man position. X1 will not hug the 1 in this case, and let's say that the 1 comes back over to balance the floor. X1 will be in a position where you would typically see in man defense, not hugging that particular player, but to get off into help side. That is kind of the basis of the amoeba rotation, or what you will see. Then when this happens, and let's say that they skip pass out of it, or that it does get reversed. In this situation, X3 does still have X5's responsibility, but on a longer pass to the 2, the 4, let's say their movement is she can either run the base or fill in the high post, but regardless, the X4 will have this pass. She will be defending this area. X1 will be still defending this person right there. As that pass happens, X2 will sprint over to defend the high post. These 2 people, X3 and X5, will switch so that they can get back into their original responsibility. And let's say that X5 cuts up in the post X, which we see a lot. X2 will have this. The 4 comes across, and X5 and X3 have now switched. So now X3 is hoop man, and the 4 is in the short corner, and the X5 has the same responsibility that they just had. That's a typical zone offense where it's a 3 out, 2 in, with a high post and a low post. They X on skip passes, or any time that you feel like you've done the amoeba rotation and you don't want your 3 guard in there. We make it so that our 4 and our 5 are interchangeable, so that they can share that responsibility if they need to. And if you have the personnel to be able to do that, I think that's a huge advantage. Another part to the amoeba would be with a 3-point shooter, or let's say that it's a non-shooter here, and we've got a high post. The ball is on the wing. They stretch on the backside. We have X4 as our hoop man, X5, X2, and X1, with X3 defending the ball. As the ball goes down into the short corner and they dive, the other option that we have is that we can show and stunt, and our 5 can stay as the ball goes down, and our 3 will follow the pass to the short corner, especially if they have poor spacing. We don't have to leave. And so in this situation, the 3 can follow the pass, the 5 gets to stay on the dive, and front that. And now that they don't have a high post anymore, X2 still has the responsibility to come out and deny either way. So X2 does not have to make a read. This would be a communication between X3 and X5. In the short corner, this is a very easy rotation, especially if the pass is coming from the wing. When you see it as a 3-pointer and say that they stretch it a little bit, and this is X3 guarding here, and the 4, let's say we switch responsibilities, and so let's say that the 4 is now down here, and the 5 is at the high post, and X2 has the high post still, and this pass goes here, then our 5 will have to commit against an elite shooter. So now we have the ball with the 4, X5, X3 dives, or takes whoever the high post is, but in this case, let's say they dive, and the 2 shoots over, and so we still have that happening on the backside with X4 showing just in case, and so we don't give anything up that's easy. When this action happens and the ball goes down, our X1 will drop into the high post area to give almost a backside eye, as it's known in the man-to-man defense look, so that the first pass to the perimeter, the 1 would have, and then the X4 would bump the 1 back up to the zone there. The other kind of look that we will get would be an even front. So we just went over the odd front, the 1, the 2, say a post, and then a baseline runner would be the 3. In this situation, we would match up X1, X3 would be in denial, X5 would still have low. We would move our X4 up because now the 1 and the 2, and typically that would be pretty poor spacing, so the 2 would be outside of the river typically. And we can bring our X4 up and keep our X2 in the high post. Depending on what the movement is, if it's a ball reversal here, and we send the baseline runner through, a couple things can happen. The X5 can follow the baseline runner out, and we take our hoop man in, but we would bump over. So we call this a reverse bump. The ball leaves the 1, it goes to the 2. We would show here with the 4 and immediately drop down into denial. The 2 would stay with the 4. The 3 would come up and defend the 1. And in an odd or an even front, this is a little bit easier to defend. Sometimes what we can do too is another alignment that you can guard with against that, where you eliminate shifts, or maybe if you don't have as an athletic of a team, you have the 1 here with the ball, the 2, the 4, the 5, and the 3. We can stick our hoop man or our backside forward. We can move our X5 to defend the high post. We can move X2, X1, and X3 into denial. And then this would eliminate any kind of baseline runner option as they pass and they reverse the ball. Here, we would just move our X4 out, drop our X5, and move our X3 back in here, drop the X1, and then X3 would have the pass back out to the 1. And this is what we will defend most often against a even front. Lastly, the most common type of entry that we will see, depending on what the zone motion is, we will see a 1-4 high set. So the ball is with the 1, X1 is guarding the 1, X3 is in denial, X2 will shade to the strong side, and X5 will shade to the weak side, and X4 will be not in denial, but playing between the 5 and the 3 behind the 5, just in case they were to slip early, to show early. X2 will defend the high post. If the ball goes in to the high post, that then becomes X2's man. X5 will be matched on the other post if he or she dives down or tries to seal across. That will still be the 5's man, and the X4 can drop down or lift depending on what the 3 does. If they enter in to the opposite high post, X5 will do what we call a stunt, and X2 will come over to take that pass, and X5 will switch responsibilities with X2, and X5 will be responsible for the 4 if he or she dives or looks to roll into the paint there. X3 would then sink, and X4 would be in denial strong side. That would be a 1-4 high entry. In special situations, which we'll see, when we set an on-ball screen, or when we see an on-ball screen, we do apply a lot of pressure, so we do see this quite often. And these in the amoeba are a strength. Ball side denial by X3 or X4. X2 would be guarding whomever the screener is. X4 would be on the weak side and probably closer to the ball, more like you would see in a man-to-man. Everyone is matched. When they set the ball screen, X1 will go underneath and X2 will attack that ball screen. So now X1, as they get into their alignment, X1, wherever she ends up or whomever has the high post responsibility in their offense, would be guarded there. And we would like to take the ball handler towards half court, and that would be X2's man. So in our defense, responsibility-wise, X1 and X2 are interchangeable. They have the same responsibilities. They're either on the ball or they're in the high post or denying the wing from a pass that's on the bottom level back out to the top level. The 3 and the 4 are always in denial on a pass down into the second level, or they are the hoop man depending on what side of the floor the ball goes to. So if it were to go to the 2, this would be X4's man, and X3 would then sprint down to become the hoop man and to help out in low post situations. These are some of the typical alignments that we'll see from a 1-4 high to an even front to an odd front, but the main responsibilities stay the same. Regardless of what kind of movement that you see, we are able to adjust accordingly, and it keeps our best perimeter defenders on the outside and our best interior defenders on the inside. This first started out for us as an out-of-bounds play that we used, and we were playing Kansas State with 8 new players. We got a steal out of bounds. It turned into a couple points for us. They called a timeout. We came back out, and the Amoeba got another steal and a layup, and then that's kind of how that was born for us. We decided to roll with the Amoeba from there. I actually got the Amoeba from Jerry Tarkanian's video on Championship Productions. So if you have an opportunity to maybe see a more fundamental breakdown, or you want to get another point of view, Coach Tarkanian's video on the Amoeba defense is a very good one. We developed our own rules to be able to make this defense more sustainable throughout a game. Tarkanian talked about that it was not a good defense to use throughout the course of a game. We have made it a little bit more conservative, and I added our own slides in to be able to make it a defense that we believe can sustain throughout a game, and it doesn't create too many wide open looks at the basket. We used to be pure man-to-man. One of the reasons we like it is that the Amoeba defense, you're using man-to-man principles and zone concepts. So it definitely is not a gimmick. It is a defense that you're not going to want to allow middle. You want to put ball pressure. It's very good if you've got a team that can apply on-ball pressure and kind of dictate some things to the offense. We also believe that this isn't necessarily predicated upon personnel. The first year that we used it, we had a very athletic X5, what we call it, but our post player is very athletic, 6'1" All-American, could grab the rim, and for Division II level was relatively dominant athletically. And we've also had a post player for us to play the X5 position that was 5'9", undersized, not as gifted athletically, but very tough and very smart. So 2 completely different players, and we've had equal amount of success with both of them from an athletic standpoint. So you can use this defense and have an undersized team. You don't necessarily need to have long and athletic players. We believe that if you apply the right kind of pressure and your slides are accurate and on point, that this can be a very successful defense. Lastly, our system, it's been able to take off here at the University of Alaska, Anchorage, and within the state of Alaska. We call it Mayhem, and it's not just our defense, but it's also our offense. We've been able to be in the top 5 in the country in scoring the last couple of seasons, but it creates an up-tempo style of play. It creates a lot of transition opportunities for us where we can let our players go, essentially, to let them make plays by themselves. So without further ado, we'll get out here. I'll show you basically the rules of the Amoeba, but we'll get a defense out here, and I'll kind of go over just some loose responsibilities of the Amoeba and what we call each position and their responsibilities. So can we get the defense out here on the floor? And the way that this works, before we do anything live, the person that we have guarding the point guard, we call X1. Okay, so they all have, it's X1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. X1, we want to be our best on-ball defender. So it doesn't necessarily have to be your point guard, but usually your best on-ball defender, because you want to dictate the side of the floor that you want the offense to go. X2 would probably be your next best on-ball defender, a player that can cover a lot of ground, one of your better athletes. And so X2 would be another player, because these two work in unison together, would be applying a lot of on-ball pressure too. So 2 good on-ball defenders. We have actually I'll go over here, X3. And X3 would be probably like your small forward. Our wings in our system are interchangeable offensively, but this would probably be your better rebounder of the 2 because there are some situations where she could be guarding a backside post. So X3, we want to be our best rebounding guard. X4 would be like our power forward. We run an offense with a stretch 4, so they don't really necessarily have to guard the post that much, but it would be your best perimeter defender that plays a post position would be X4. And X5 would be your best low post defender, and it doesn't matter the size in terms of 6'4", 5'9", 5'10". I think just for the level of play or for your particular personnel, the person that can defend the low post the most efficiently. So we'll go into a breakdown positionally. We do this at the beginning of every single practice. We'll set up guards, individual and post individuals. We'll go over what kind of rules that we're gonna see, but typically at the very beginning of the season, we don't even go over the amoeba slides. We will work specifically on fundamentals of man-to-man concepts because that is the foundation of the amoeba defense. We have to be able to apply on-ball pressure and keep people in front. Our first drill that we're going to be doing is, and we'll just walk through it here to begin with, and then we'll get going live. But essentially what we're going to have is 2 defenders here with a foot in the paint. We'll have 2 offensive players on the outside of the 3-point line. The coach will end up passing to one of the wings, and we get a closeout right here. Now, when we close out, we want to make sure we are very particular on footwork, and we want to make sure that our top foot is above the offensive player's top foot. I think too many people get caught in angles where we kind of open the gate. So if Tara were to open the gate more this way, we would be giving up the baseline. We are not giving up the baseline, but we are forcing to the baseline. So we want to take them down to that area. So the drill will be the coach passes here to the wing. Once the wing gets it, we hold it for like a 1 or a 2 count. She makes a skip pass over to the other wing, so we get another closeout in, and we sprint back over into a help side position. She'll hold it for a 1 or a 2 count, and then she will pass back over. And then once she catches it, she will dribble down to the baseline. Okay, we'll get a dead ball. Coach will pass over to the other wing. She'll bring it down to the baseline, and we'll get a stop. So let's go through that here. Okay, let's get after it. Let's go full speed on this. All right, here we go. Good. Here, skip pass. Skip. He goes live. He goes live. Good closeout. Good. Stick with it. Good. Okay, here we go. Let's go one more time. One more time, and then we'll flip it. One more time, and then we'll flip it. Good. Good. Good, Tara. Good, Kiki. Good. Take her down. Good. Dead ball. Good. Okay, flip it. Nice job, buddies. Okay, flip it. Next two is you guys are on defense. Kiki, you get down to the wing. Okay, same thing. Okay, once it gets dead, we want to make sure that we get on a dead ball. We are with our bottom half tight to the offensive player. Okay, so with the bottom half of our body, we are tight. We are yelling dead, and we have active hands once that gets into a dead ball situation. All right, here we go. Good. 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 Good, Kate. Dead, dead, dead. Good. Okay, good. One more time. Okay, and this time, ladies, when it's dead, I want you getting after it. Okay, I want you guys getting after it. Get into it. Okay, here we go. Boom. Skip pass. Good. Skip pass live there. Good. Good, Autumn. Dead, 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 dead. Good. Good job. Okay, that is one of the closeout drills that we will do at the beginning of every single practice. We will go over that. Closeouts, in my opinion, are the hardest thing to do in basketball. So that's something that we want to be very good at. And as you guys, you'll be able to see later on in this video that there's quite a bit of opportunities to close out. So that's something that we definitely want to be excellent at. The next drill that we'll do is ball pressure jumps. Okay, and so let's give me a point guard out here with the ball, and X1 defending, or X2, it doesn't really matter. Okay, right there, Yazzie, we'll have you be the X2 defender. Okay, and guards, this is what we'll have everybody do here. But essentially, what we're going to do is we want the point guard to bring it down the side of the floor. They cannot bring it down the middle. That is a rule of the amoeba, so that the rules become very clear, which we'll go over in a little bit. But we want to create a lot of on-ball pressure here, and sometimes when we do this, you will get beat. When you are defending as hard as you possibly can, you will get beat. Let's go 3 into the corner. And in this, we're just going to simulate getting beat. So let's go slow-mo. Okay, dribble goes here. Kiki, you sprint back. Yazzie, X2 will jump the ball handler here. The ball handler will then kick it down into the corner and fill to the wing. And then the person that was guarding the ball, Yazzie, you will just jump into denial. Okay, you will jump into denial right there. Once that happens, okay, Tara, or the 3, I want you to make a pass into the high post, and I want that stolen. Okay, once we get it stolen, then we'll just rotate. Okay, so that's what we're going to do there. We're going to do that live. Okay, this is something that happens a lot. Because we create so much on-ball pressure, we do get beat, but we want to be aggressive when we do get beat. We always want to be in attack mode. So essentially, the 1 and the 2 will be switching in this particular situation, and we'll deny that pass back out because our forward would have that pass to the wing. X3 or X4 would have that pass in a game. All right? All right, here we go. Let's get after it. Good. Deny back. Good. Steal it. Good. Good job. But we want to get used to getting that steal. Okay, let's go ahead and just rotate here in a circle. Okay. Same thing. Okay, ball handler here. Okay, Kate, you get beat. We got X2. Yazzie, you can go X2 again there. Okay, Tara drives past her. Good. Okay, Yazzie switches. Good. Deny. Okay, now let's go full speed. Let's go full speed. Okay, so you're here, Kate. She gets beat. You're going to sprint down into there. Deny the high post. You got to see ball though too. Okay, pass goes in the high post, steal, and we're off. Okay, all right, here we go. Good, good. Here we go. Rotate. Okay, 2 more times. Good. Good. Okay, and one thing, let's get that original group out here. Okay, original group. Okay, X2 is Yazzie. Okay, Kiki, you're at X1. When we jump this, we want to attack it. We're not just going to wait here as she gets beat and just wait for this person to come at us. So once X1 gets beat here, we're waiting here so it's not an obvious pass. As she starts to come back, you jump this right there, okay, so that pass is forced, because X3 or X4 will be in denial, ready to help on that. Okay, so we will deny that pass back out. Okay, here we go, last time. Good, perfect. Good job, ladies. The next breakdown that we do with the guards, okay, it'll be ball screens. So, coach, can you get right here? Okay, X1 with a ball, or not X1, 1 with a ball and X1 guarding her. Okay. Let's get a Tara, instead of being in the corner, you're going to be right here, and you're going to come out and set a ball screen. So I want you to start at the 3-point line. Okay. You'll come out and ball screen this, and freeze it. Now, as we ball screen, since it's guard to guard, we are always jumping it. Okay, this is a strength of the amoeba when teams, you're taking away the ball screen option. So when they ball screen, we're going under to switch and jumping this really hard. If she comes back, we just switch back right there, no problem. Let's say we write it out though, okay? You would then freeze it. You would take here, and what we want to do is create a backwards dribble so that everybody can now then bump back into their position. And if she pops, she stays matched. And typically what teams will do is they will either bring like a low post up to the high post, where X2's responsibility is the high post in general, or what they'll do is they'll pop like a stretch 4 here, and we just stay matched right there, okay? But we'll go over those once we get into the rules of it. Okay, all right, let's go through that here. Ball screen action. Okay, good job. Okay, go back to the beginning. This time, ball screener, I want you to roll into the high. Good job. Okay, good job. Let's flip that. Same thing. So Yasmin's gonna set the ball screen. When she sets it, Kate, you're gonna jump it really hard. Tara's underneath, and you're matched right there, and you keep her in front. Okay, here we go, live. Good job. And we will go through that particular drill in practice, especially if we know that we're going to be seeing a team that sets a lot of high on-ball screens. But in the amoeba, one of the strengths of this particular defense is that when this kind of situation happens, we're able to attack it. It's nothing that we really have to go over too much because of the help side that we have on the back side. But that's important for the guards to know as you start to implement this defense. Thanks, ladies. Okay, on the other end, typically in practice, we'll have the post breakdown. And the post breakdown, it is a lot of work. So Coach Afola and post, Biggs, you guys get out here. We'll go 2 on the low block. We'll do the fronting drill. And we'll typically, it depends how you want to set up your practice, but we'll have, managers or coaches here on the perimeter. When the ball is at the top of the key, our low post will be in like a 3/4 type position to discourage this pass. But the key is when we're set up that we have great ball pressure, so that any kind of pass into the post is difficult, especially when you have an undersized team. And because we play a hybrid schedule of Division I opposition and Division II, when we play the Division I's, typically we are undersized. So it's very important in the amoeba that you are fronting the post to eliminate any kind of disadvantage that you may have from a size or athleticism standpoint. When the ball gets swung to the wing, we jump in front, okay? And there is no help side, so this person would just be the other low post offensively. So we would have offense. Okay, so when the ball gets swung here, we're back in the 3/4. When the ball gets swung to the other side, okay, Shelby, you stay on the low block right there offensively, and we're working to get in front right there, okay? So typically in practice, we'll have them do this until we think it's good, but for this particular drill, we'll start out on this left side. Once the ball gets swung here, we'll get in front, and then it'll end once it gets back to the original side. Okay, does that make sense? And you can see you make that skip pass to the other side. Okay, all right, here we go. Good. You want to stay low? Good, Hannah. Good. Very good. So as you can see, when we are guarding the low post, we want to make sure when we front that we are posting up the post. Okay, defensively, we are posting up the person that is posting up. And especially when you're undersized, okay, this is something that we want to make sure we get nice and low, so you get your butt right down there, right on the top of her knee, and we can move them out to the area that we want them to go. Okay, let's go ahead and let's rotate here. Okay, so Hannah, let's just put you on a perimeter. Okay, Shelves, you come across, you'll be on defense, and Sierra, you're down. All right, here we go. Good, nice and low. Good, 3/4. Help side. Good. get past. Good. 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 Good job. Okay, rotate. Here we go. Okay, 3/4. Good. Full front. Good. 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 And just real quick, we're not particular on whether to fight over the top or underneath. Okay, so it doesn't really matter as long as the job gets done in terms of fighting over the top of the offense to get in front, or if we're going to go underneath. So, that's kind of up to the coach or whoever you're playing in terms of personnel, or to take away a particular strength, a right-handed or left-handed player. Okay, here we go. One more time. One more time. Okay, Elise, you're on defense. Good. 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 Way to stay low. Nice job, Alicia. All right, last, the other one that we'll do in post breakdown, okay, is an X4 and X5 rotation. Okay, and one of the things that makes the amoeba unique is that the 5 will come out to the corner, and the wing will end up rotating down, which we call the amoeba rotation. I know Coach Tarkanian calls it an X cut, but we call it just the amoeba rotation. And so basically, what we see a lot is when the ball goes from the top to the wing, and we jump in front, and we eliminate this particular pass, okay, they run out of options, and so the low post will leave this position, and she will come out to the short corner typically, if this is a 5, if this is a true post that doesn't have a 3-point game. So when this happens, we will take, and the pass goes here. Since that is such a long rotation for X4, okay, we will take our 5, and she will commit to the low corner, and we will protect the high post dive, because typically what you'll see is a high post who we would have being defended by X1 or X2 at this point will dive to get to the rim right there. So we want to make sure that we have rim protection. So we will, that's in the other drill when we take X2 and she denies this particular pass when it goes down to the corner. Okay, that's when we put the pieces to the puzzle together. But X4 will leave, and she'll come down here and front the low post. So it creates an opportunity for us to get a steal, because it is a unique rotation. All right, here we go. Let's go through that. We'll go through full speed. Okay, full speed. All right, ball goes into the wing. Good. Good, very good. Okay, here we go. Rotate, get through it. Okay, same thing. Coaches at the high post. We'll just go ahead there. Okay, we start out in denial with X4. Goes to the wing. Okay, good. She has to go to short corner, dive. Good job, Shelby. And it's just like we talk about it being in a dance, okay? So if I'm in denial like this right here, the ball's here, and I'm in denial and the ball goes down here, okay, and I know that I'm about ready to deny this pass, I'm sprinting, I'm finding this person, and I'm throwing this hand out in the passing lane so that then I can get in front and be in a fronting position for the low post. Okay, here we go. Let's go one or two more times here. Okay, be in denial. Good. Good. Hard dive. Good, Shelby. That is our individual breakdowns, and there are some different, fundamental drills that we'll do at the very beginning of practice. I always start out the beginning of the year going 4-on-4 shell with man-to-man principles that everybody else in the country runs there. But so that we can keep people in front and be able to execute those particular rotations. So now I'll get more into the rules of amoeba. Let's get that defense back out, X1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we had to start there. Okay, and let's get an offense out here. A 1 with the basketball, a 2 and a 3. Let's go 4 at the high post. And a 5 down at the low post. So amoeba is a single-celled organism that can change its shape, essentially. And That is essentially what this defense does. It starts out and it looks like a 1-1-3, but depending on what the offense does, it can change into a 1-3-1. It can look like a 2-1-2. It just kind of depends because it does match up to whatever the offense runs. But the most common type of offense that we see, or that we see on film anyways, is a 1-3-1 type look. Okay, 3 on the perimeter, a high post, and a low post. And depending on what kind of movement you got, you can go over that in your own scouting report. But the basic rules are this. The point guard can only bring it down on one side of the floor. We will decide that depending on the strength of the ball handler. So typically we're bringing them down on the left-hand side of the floor, or we get to choose what kind of ball handler brings it up based on a press that we also run. So in this situation, the ball handler brings it up the right side of the floor, and this makes it very clear on what the rules everyone has. Because typically, X3 or X4, if you're one pass away, you are in denial. So X3, in this particular case, she is in denial. She's up the line, okay, or strong to her man. But if the ball handler were to get past the 1, we would be able to jump it with the 2, and we could do what we call a stunt with X3 and be able to get back into position there. When this happens, okay, we are all matched. X5 has the 5. X2 right here, she always has high post responsibility, or X1, depending. The person of X1 and X2 that does not have the ball handler will be covering the high post, or a person that's near the high post. So if they vacate the high post and the 4 were to come out here, this would still be X2's man. So go ahead and stay in the high post there. Okay, you will always have a ball man, a denial man. You'll always be fronting the post or in a position where you are in front of the post. And we call our help side defender the hoop man. So the opposite side, in this case, it is X4. If the ball goes here to the wing, okay, we have our hoop man protecting the hoop and anything that goes, that happens on the back side. So if they were to show a double low look, which we'll go over later, then instead of having the wing, she would then have the low post. And since there's no high post, X2 would then have the wing over there. Okay, so get back there. When the ball is here, we do not want to allow middle, just like man-to-man. This is no secret in any defense. So we do not want the ball to get to the middle here because our help side essentially is a little bit unclear sometimes, okay? What we want to do is make sure that the ball goes to the baseline. And because of that, we are fronting the low post right here. So when the ball gets, let's say the ball gets skipped. Let's say it gets skipped to the other wing. Okay, freeze. Okay, let's say that the high post dives and the low post X's. Okay, X2 still has high post responsibility here. And X5 still has the low post. X4 would have the ball, and opposite of the ball would be our other forward, and typically X3 or X4, like I mentioned, would be the hoop man protecting on the back side. Okay, let's go through this live a little bit. Okay, and offense, you guys can kind of just do whatever. Let's go about 50% in this. So wings, you guys don't have to do any movement. We'll just work the ball around. Defense, let the passes go through, but hold on for about 1 or 2 seconds when you have the pass so that people can get used to their rotations. Okay, ball goes down to the corner. Okay, just work it around. Okay, good. Ball goes into the high post. Good. Swings over. Good. X's. Good. Ball goes into the high post. Good. Okay, get into the high post. High post. Freeze. Once it gets into the high post, you have a couple different options. Typically, teams will decide they want some movement on the perimeter, and these two will interchange. They'll do some sort of shallow cut or whatever. When that happens, we have the opportunity where we have a really strong on-ball defender guarding a post player on the perimeter, and we have another good on-ball defender that can occasionally dig. So when it gets into the high post, we can decide based off personnel if we want to guard it straight up or if we want to dig from the high side, or if we want to dig from the low side with our, depending on how good of a shooter the wing is. Okay, so those are the options that we have when it gets into the high post. If it goes back here to the wing, okay, and let's say that the low post player flashed to the short corner, and we pass there, okay, we do the amoeba rotation, and we're putting this all together now. The X3 or X4 will dive down to front, okay? She now has X5's responsibility until the next opportunity that they can switch back into their original responsibilities. The guard will then come over to deny the pass that came to the corner, and this is an opportunity for us where we get a lot of steals because that is a unique rotation for her, and it's a unique rotation for there. So let's go through that real slow-mo here. Okay, ball goes from the point to the wing, to the short corner. They dive, we deny, and we still have a hoop man on the backside because we're undersized in the post right here. So it doesn't really matter who your X5 is against their particular player because we have strong help side in the back by the hoop man, and we are always fronting the low post. Now, let's get it back up. Let's restart. Okay, and let's say that the 4 is down on the baseline to begin with, and the 5 is at the high post, and the 4 is a shooter. So let's say the ball comes over here to the strong side, the shooter comes all the way out, the ball goes here, okay, and we have to bring X5 out to defend the shooter, okay? They will, let's say they dive, okay, let's say they dive the high post, we cover, okay, and we deny there, okay? It's the same type of thing. Even if she is a shooter, we work out on closeout so much that we feel we're good enough for at least one rotation for X5 to be on the perimeter, to be able to limit a dribble drive opportunity. If the ball were to skip all the way across to the other wing, this is when we would use our opportunity to switch back, and that would be kind of a long rotation for X5. So let's go through that real quick. Okay, 50%. Here we go. Good. Good. Okay, good. One thing that I do want to go over. Okay, ball goes here, ball goes to the corner. Okay, and our X3 or X4 dope. We don't always want to be robots and come down here and wait if they don't dive. Okay, so if they don't dive, we just know that the person that's X5 in a 4-out, 1-in scenario has the lowest person on the floor. And in this particular case, the high post is the person that's closest to the basket, or what we call lowest on the floor. So if they didn't move, then X5 would come up and she would have high post responsibility. And in this case, if they don't dive, we have the advantage because now we have a guard guarding a post on the perimeter, okay? Which is actually very advantageous for us. Okay, let's go one live possession here. One live possession. Offense, I don't really care what you do, but let's keep it 3 out, 2 in for the most part. So post, let's just have you guys X, run what we call lefty, so guards, you guys can move around however you want on the perimeter there. Okay? All right, we go. Good, active hands. Good. 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 Threes. Excellent. Good job. Okay, good job. Very good job. Okay, now in that we had a couple ball reversals. They had got it into the high post, the low post. Okay, we actually had one mistake there, but because we did have good ball pressure, we were able to cover that mistake up a little bit and then jump back into proper alignment. That is against the 3-out, 2-in, and we're a little bit out of shape right now from being out of season, but they can get after it here. Okay, another alignment that we will see against Amoeba is teams will then try to spread us out a little bit, or they'll put into alignment where they'll overload certain parts of the zone. And this is most common when you see a set or maybe a specific entry into whatever kind of zone motion that you're going to see. The most common ones we'll go over, okay, is they'll bring out a double high post. And in a double high post situation, our rules remain the same, okay? We're denying that pass, the ball side pass. We have great ball pressure right here. If we get beat, we're switching the same and jumping. Okay, X5 in this particular situation is shading to the weak side, and X2 is shading to the strong side. We still have our hoop man that's on the bottom level, but her responsibility would still be to close out to a skip pass right there. What most teams will do and how we drill it is we will say that the point guard can pass to either high post. It doesn't matter, and we'll go over that right now. If they pass to the strong side high post, okay, freeze. X2 will take this particular player, and what most teams will do is they'll either dive this post to that block, weak side, or they'll dive and they'll X-cut trying to get a good seal inside here in the middle or low. But 5 will anticipate this, so as she comes across, she'll try to stay on the high side there and kind of dictate where she gets to go so that we have an advantage in terms of that. So when the high post gets the ball, if the point guard doesn't move, then we have an opportunity to dig right here. But again, we have a very good on-ball defender, or one of the defenders that we're most confident with on ball, guarding a post player at the high post. We have our best post defender waiting for whomever they're trying to seal in the key, ready to bang with them down low. Okay, this would be a 1-4. Let's go through that about 50%. Okay, ball goes in. Good. Gets skipped. Okay, and freeze. Okay, freeze. Okay, go back, Alicia, before you dive right there. Since they had a double low post right here, we wouldn't need to dive. We could just stay matched up. So as the ball, you came out, and let's say the ball went to the low post, and there was no high post, then this would be what we would just stay. We would not need to abandon this particular play because there are other players on the opposite side, or there are other posters on the opposite side. So X3 or X4, whoever that happens to be, would just stay in that particular alignment. If they flashed into the high post right here, okay, we would have X2 or X1 just kind of communicate right there, but X1 or X2 would have this high post. We would still stay in alignment, okay, and we wouldn't have any issues there on a backside flash. Okay, let's go through that full speed with a double high post entry. Okay, and now let's say this, I forgot. Let's say that it goes into the opposite post, and let's freeze it when she gets it. X2 still takes high post, even though it's on the opposite side. Okay, X5 still takes the post that's going to flash, not a problem. Okay, all right, here we go. Let's go full speed, double high post entry. Good, good. High hand. Freeze. Excellent. Excellent. Nice job. Nice job. So on the double high post, they will typically get into a 3-out, 2-in scenario where we have the same rules we did before. All you have to know as a coach is that you want X1 or X2 defending that particular position. Okay, the next one we will go over is a ball screen. Okay, we have the point guard right here, and we let's say that they have a low post on the strong side. X, like a stretch 4, would come out and set this ball screen to alleviate pressure because we do apply a lot of pressure. And this is the same situation that we went with the guards. We had been drilling this from the beginning, so the guards then do exactly what they've been drilled to do. They jump it. Let's say that the post rolls into the high post. Okay, and now we are still in a 3-out, 2-in motion type situation. Okay, let's go through that real quick. Okay, full speed. Good. You get screen. We attack the screen. We're still in the low post. We're in denial with the ball there. Good. Good job. Okay, and any kind of post-entry pass, we want to make sure that it's very hard for the offense to get it inside, especially against teams where we may be a little lesser of an athlete at any kind of particular position inside if we're playing a Division I team or something like that. Okay. The last kind of ball screen action that we'll see is this, and we set the ball screen right here. We jump it, okay, and the screener will then pop. The wing will then drop to the base, and let's say that they flash into the high post here. Okay, so we will stay matched in this situation, and it goes with our fundamental rules. X5 always has the lowest player on the floor, or the player that's closest to the basket. Okay, and in this particular situation, they go into a 4-out and 1 in, so the 1 in X5 always has. Okay, so let's go through that. Okay, 50% this time, and then we'll go through full speed. Good. 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 Freeze. Good. Okay, and on the back side, the hoop man, she has this backside responsibility. So if the ball goes into the high post, okay, and let's say the screener popped, and let's say the backside wing was to cut to the basket, this would be the hoop man's responsibility, because essentially it would be just like man principles, and that would be her man right there. Okay, lastly, we have a double low post scenario. We've experienced quite a bit of success out of defending this kind of offense because for us, we take a lot of pride in keeping people in front. And so what it does is it eliminates any kind of high post flash that sometimes can give the amoeba problems. So in this particular situation, if the point guard were to pass to the wing, what a lot of times teams will try to do is on the reversal, okay, on the reversal, let's just say we skipped it, okay, freeze. They will try to seal our X5, who was in a front, on the backside for a lob to the backside of the rim with their low post. The reason this is very difficult is because we will have quite a bit of on-ball pressure right here, okay, against this wing. And we're either fighting over the top or underneath, and then our hoop man can also give a little bit of help if they throw this backside lob. So I think ideally, in a perfect world, you get a great seal and you can make that pass and it's a layup on the backside, and let's say that it goes to the other side, it would be against an X4. So sometimes they try to pick on maybe X3 or X4 against their 5 for a backside lob, but we feel that if we have good ball pressure right there, it's actually they're throwing into a 2-on-1 because our hoop man is helping on this seal. Okay, so let's go through that about 50% speed. Okay, ball goes to the wing. Okay, it gets skipped. Okay, and we try to get the seal. Perfect. Freeze. Okay, and this is what we're looking for. Freeze it right there. Ball's there. We got ball pressure. If we have great ball pressure, okay, and let's say that this was a 6'2" All-American that plays, you know, at USC or whoever it is. Okay, they have someone that's athletically and from a height standpoint very gifted. We can pinch on this back side, and we feel like we still have an advantage. Okay, so against a double low, sometimes when teams try to overload the bottom side of the zone, if you have a team that has good perimeter defenders, you can make up for maybe an undersized type post look because you can pinch on that back side. Let's go through that. One thing that we'll see here too, just to give us some motion. Let's say it goes there. Let's have you cut Kate all the way down, and let's have you cut out strong side. Okay, we would bump this particular pass because X1 would have no one to guard. So as she comes through, X1 would bump X3 down to the corner, so we're still matched. And once you get it, Autumn, let's just have you throw a skip pass over there. and we're still looking to seal on the back side, we still get the same alignment. Okay? All right, here we go. Let's go through that full speed. Good. Good. We have help side. Good. Freeze it. Good. And that's a low post entry right there. That's fine. Okay. We would be able to dig either strong side or over here. Last thing that we'll go over, and this is one thing I think that you can get creative, as creative as you want, or you can do it off personnel, and that's trapping opportunities. You know, you can almost make the amoeba look like a half-court trapping defense that's aggressive, and you can come out the next game and you can disguise it as people can't tell if it's a man or a zone at times. So I'll give you some of the opportunities where we feel like we've had an advantage in trapping, and it's helped us lead the country in steals the last 4 years. So let's give it more of a traditional look, and let's say that we have a high post right here. X2 takes high post. And let's say that we are really dogging the point guard, and let's have you stretch down a little bit in the wing, and we force them this way, and we leave with X2. Okay, we leave X2, and X1 stays, and we trap this ball handler right here. We would then give up the backside pass if we get a great trap, and we can deny this pass right here. Okay, so that is one opportunity that we have to be able to trap. Typically, we will trap players that what we call melt, or players that are weak ball handlers, or maybe a really strong ball handler one way, and a player that can't use his or her left hand. Okay, so let's give this a look right now. We'll go slow motion so we can so that everyone can kind of tell how we do this. We're here, we're dogging her. Okay, she comes this way. We leave at an X2. Okay, we stunt from in front right here so that she doesn't think she can go baseline. So X3 would stunt up and then cover down to make it look like that pass was available. Okay, and we would get this trap. And what we want to do is get them as close to the sideline as possible. We don't want to get a trap right here on the three-point line where this pass to the backside, if the 3 or the 2 were to cut down to the block. Okay, so let's go over that real quick. Let's go full speed. Sorry about that, Kate. You're about to get trapped. Okay, let's get after it, D. Here we go. Good, trap. Good, freeze. Okay, now very good. Let's get it right here. Now in the trap, we want to make sure, it's very important, that we are very tight with our bottom half. We get our hands up so that we show the officials that we're not fouling, but this way we can get as tight as we possibly can to take away any kind of passing angle. And we believe that this will cause a lot of steals or a backward pass. And in the game with a shot clock, this is very efficient because if the opposite wing comes all the way back over here and they make this pass, okay, we are still in alignment. We're no problem. We're still matched up. Our hoop man has the person that's furthest away from the basket. In this case, that is the high post. So we're still matched where we need to be. And most teams, after this happens, she'll balance our floor out for us because she will then dribble this way. Everybody then gets back into alignment. Let's say that the ball gets reversed, okay? And now we are back into where we began. And that would waste, 4 or 5 seconds off of the shot clock, giving us a significant advantage. That's one area that we like to trap. The last area that I'll tell you guys about that we like to trap is any backwards dribble. Let's go on this side just for kicks this time, okay? So we'll bring it over here, okay? Let's say that it's like a baseline runner look. So let's go an even front. So Autumn, let's have you get up to the junction this way a little bit, like a two-guard front. And Kimijah will have, actually Autumn, you come here since Kimijah's a little limited with her knee there. Okay, so Autumn, you get right here. You're going to be the baseline runner type, okay? And Kate, let's dribble you over here, push Autumn down. Okay, let's say we hit the baseline runner, and Autumn, you come up this way, and we decide that we want to trap this. We'll trap as she dribbles up into this person's zone, so X1 zone. So Yazzie, you go back. We have X1 right here. We make the pass down. As she dribbles up, we will not leave the ball handler. So the person, in this case, X4, has the ball handler. She will not abandon her zone. And so she dribbles up this way. Kiki will stay in her zone. And so as X1 stays in her zone and she dribbles, they meet. We will then trap this. We'll abandon the high post. Typically, if this happens and we get a great trap, they'll leave the low post and we'll take our X5 and we will deny that pass as well. And so our hoop man is left with two, kind of a monster man situation right now. But we think if we have a great trap right here against the sideline, a pass down there will be thrown at a speed that we can intercept. And so let's go over that real quick. 50%. Let the pass go through, Leash. There we go, good. Good, we trap it. Good, and freeze. Now, what we have to be all in on this on a 50-50 type of pass. You need to cheat to the most obvious pass when you're this particular player right here, or our hoop man. So the X5 is pretty matched. This person has to make a kind of a difficult read if we're against a player that we feel is a player that would melt. Now, we would not want to trap a player that was a very good passer coming out of the corner that way, but a player that we feel is a player that would melt, we would trap that. And in this case, this is the most obvious pass. This is the pass that we would cheat to. Okay, let's go full speed this time, full speed. And if you mess up, it's fine, it's fine. Okay, all right, here we go. Good. Good. Excellent. Freeze. Okay, good. Now in this case, let's go through that real quick. Okay, ball gets over there. We get a great trap. They throw a backwards pass right there. Okay, in this case, we then will match up and we will get the floor balanced as best we can. Okay, so if they throw a backwards pass, in this particular situation, we have the low post right there. We have a guard in a non-scoring position, another guard in a non-scoring position, okay? And their spacing is all 5 people on one side of the floor. We did our job because this is terrible floor spacing, okay? So as they recover out of this and get their spacing right, let's say that she dribbles over to this wing, their PG comes back up to the top, okay? They make the pass to the point guard. We then rotate to recover back to our positions. In this clip, this is a transition clip in Amoeba defense. This is where a ball screen will take place. As you can see, the point guard has the ball. X2 has engaged the ball handler, and they have a high ball screen where X1 will then switch with X2, and we get a steal. Here's another clip. This would be a short corner. X3 is engaged the first pass. They're cutting the high post down to the short corner. The 3 follows the pass, the 5 stunts and covers the dive, and the X1 comes over to deny the pass back out. X2 closes out. We force a tough shot. In this clip, this is pretty good rotation. We start out looking like in the Amoeba a 1-3-1. And then it shifts because the offense, their alignment also shifts. X2 is guarding the high post. The point guard caught herself out of scoring position, and X1 got the steal on the wing. In this clip, this is transition. X1 and X4. X4 right now has nobody to guard. X5 has the low post. So we decide to trap here with X4 and X1. We get a nice trap on the sideline, force the turnover. Right here, this is a switch. X2 ends up getting beat. X1 is defending the high post, and we jump switch this where X1 will then take the ball handler and X2 will take the high post. Gets beat, we switch, and we get the steal off of an aggressive switch. Here we have great on-ball defense. This will end up being a high post entry. We do a great job of our X2 staying in front, get a good dig from behind, cause the turnover. In this particular set, we end up seeing a special situation. It goes into a too low and a horns type look into a double low post. Horns look, get the on-ball screen, we're able to switch it. We switch all three actions at the top and are able to get the steal on the backside. In this clip, this is a double high post entry. The X2, they passed to the opposite side. X2 hustled over to defend the high post. X5 then shuffled down to take the diving post from the opposite elbow. And as you can see, X4 is the hoop man on the opposite ball side block to help with any post entry. And X4 ends up with the steal. Transitioning back into Amoeba defense, X1 and X2 have a great switch. X3 actually has two players right there. She stunts and is able to recover. X2 bumps her back down. We have our hoop man on the opposite side, so we're working to front here in the post. They try to throw a lob, and we get a good steal with some help from the hoop man. This clip is another high on-ball screen to alleviate pressure. We are able to jump it and switch. Both wings get into denial. X4 bumps down. She engages the ball handler. Everyone else is matched up on the perimeter. Now we have X2 engaging the ball handler. We have a double low post situation, so X3 is down on the block, X5 is on the block, and X4 is in denial. That leaves X1 in a help side position to be able to intercept this pass. This is another double high entry. X2 takes the high post entry, X5 helps on the down. X2 then switches with X5, so X2 will engage the high post, X5 will shift down to the block, and X3 will end up on the perimeter to contest this jump shot. We have X1 engaged with the ball handler, does a great job of keeping her from on one side of the floor. We switch dribble handoffs on any kind of wing dribble handoff exchange. X1 does a great job of applying on-ball pressure. Jumps the miss from X2. X3 right now is out of position, but we are able to bump back down into proper alignment, get a one-on-one situation with X5, everyone recovers, and we're able to steal the dead ball situation. Transition opportunity here. X1 and X2 come out to trap, and sometimes we will do this to ball handlers that we feel are average decision makers. This ends up causing a bad pass out of bounds. X4 is there to contest. This is a situation we talked about in a double low post set that they'll eventually get into with an even guard front. So you have the ball handler right now, and the opposite guard has made this an even guard front. We're matched up down low with X4 on the ball side block, X5 in the middle, and our hoop man X3 on the back side. X1 and X2 have the perimeter, so it looks now like a 2-3 zone. Right there, X4 ends up with great defense, gets a deflection. This is a transition back into Amoeba. This will be our Amoeba rotation. X4 comes out to engage the wing. They immediately make the pass to the corner where X5 now has to take that responsibility. X2 will come over to deny the pass back out, and X4 hustles down to the block to take the dive. We're able to close back out and get into proper alignment. This is another transition back into Amoeba. We decide to trap the ball handler, get some deflections, and get the steal from X1 and X2. This is out of a horn set. We have X1 on the ball. They come off the screen that X2 is not on, so we then jump it with X3. X3 comes out. They come down to the corner. X5 then takes the corner, leaving the middle of the key open. X4 shows on the dive, and X3 then makes the Amoeba rotation down to front the post. And now we are back into alignment with a great contest. This is a ball screen action. X1 and X2 jump the ball screen. And on the pass back to the fill, X2 is there because that's her position. I hope the video clips, the live action, and the Chalk Talk help you and your program achieve greater success defensively. If you have any questions about the Amoeba defense, please feel free to shoot us an email. All of our staff can be located on GoSeaWolves.com.